The purpose and function of the Jacksonville Beach Special Magistrate hearing in accordance with Florida State Statute 162 and the City of Jacksonville Beach Code of Ordinances is to reach an equitable expedition to enforce the codes. The city presents the violation and evidence to the Special Magistrate. Next, the property owner is sworn in and responds to the violation and evidence. Both the city and the property owner may call witnesses to provide sworn testimony relevant to the case. This is a quasi-judicial hearing, not a public forum. Individuals not called as sworn witnesses will not be heard. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name for the record.
Nikki Beavers, Code Enforcement Officer for Jax Beach.
Joe, do you have a clicker?
No, I'll do it.
Mr. Brown.
Well, it appears we only have one case on the calendar, Mr. Brower, so thank you for coming forward. And Mr. Brower will need to be sworn in.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Please state your name for the record.
Robert Brower.
Thank you.
And Officer Beavers, I'm ready when you are. I think this is not Mr. Brower's first appearance on our calendar. If you would do me a favor, if you have it handy, what are the prior dates of the hearings where Mr. Brower has been present?
Your Honor, I do not have a timeline.
If you
This
could
is just a continuance.
Right, but if you could do that for me, because what I will need to know is, unless you're about to tell me that Mr. Browers has complied, which I fear is not the case, in order for me to fully understand how long it is that this case has been active and we've had no resolution, I will need that from you. I can take a recess to allow you to put that together for me.
I will state that Mr. Brower, at this point, has complied. The property, he has submitted a demolition permit to our office. There was a small halt in the process because the utilities needed to be disconnected. He had to switch the utilities out of his sister's name into his name, pay the final bills. He has taken care of all of that. So now we're just waiting on the contractor to demolish the property.
Okay. Am I correct that this started out as a roof that had a tarp over it?
Correct.
And it has been that way for quite a while?
Correct.
And so I thought the last time we were present, you potentially had family members, I think, that were going to attempt to fix it, is what I thought.
We were, and then when the tarp blew off, it fell more damage, it just needs to be demolished.
Okay. And so ultimately, though, officer, what is it you will ask of me? Because I believe that I did sign an order that was going to fine this gentleman, assuming something did not take place. Have we kind of stepped away from that, at least as far as the city's role?
Yes, we have, because a demolition permit has been submitted. This was submitted on 12/11/2019. As stated before, Mr. Brower needed to take care of his final bill with Beaches Energy, which he did take care of that. I have the receipt showing that he has taken care of that bill. So now it's just the contractor that will.
Do we have a timeline for that? Is he using someone from the city, or is it the city's position that it will need to be demolished within X days so that we're not right back here again in, say, a month?
He is using a professional company, Real Code Recycling Company.
Okay.
Due to the holidays, don't know, he had to make sure that the utilities had to be paid and disconnected.
Sure.
So once the contractor has all this information now, because they actually came into the office as well,
To talk to you?
when they were submitting the demolition application. So now that he's completed everything he needed to do on his part, this would just be
The timing of the demolition.
the timing of the contractor.
will they need Mr. Brower to be present when this takes place, or at this point, they've got to go and go ahead and then they just do what they need to do on their time?
Now that he has complied the Beaches Energy bill, they will come in and resubmit the application that they originally submitted, because the utilities had to be transferred into his name because his sister
Right.
is deceased. So at this point, it's out of Mr. Brower's hands.
Okay. And did you give the company any, or did you ask them at all, like what the timeline?
I did not speak with them, only the clerks.
And yes, Mr. Brower, what did you wish to
It's
say?
the same demolition company that did the house at the corner just to the east of us, so I know they know the Jack's Beach regulations, permitting process and everything else.
And do you have anything else that you wanted to share with me? Because technically, I don't think we need to go back through that again if all you're going to do is say the city is satisfied at this point. We're obviously making forward progress. Do you want to put it back on the calendar for a certain date by which you hope to tell me that, you know, everything is now fixed, for lack of a better word?
At this point, if we want to, I guess maybe after the first of the year to come back, if it has not been complied, well, technically it is complied, but once the permit has been submitted, then
You don't hold it against it, the
There's
city
nothing-
doesn't hold it against Mr. Brower if now the demolition company, let's just say there's a lot of stuff to be had, they have a death in the family, they have all these other things going on.
right. So at this point, he's complied.
Okay, then, and are you asking me to find him in, I guess find him in violation, but
But
he
in
has
compliance.
I will do that, sir, and I wish you the happiest of holidays, and I am very sorry that this is how it all worked out.
Happy holidays to you.
Thank you. And I do notice that we have folks in the courtroom. I think I've seen at least several of you before. Do any of you just wish to be heard at this point now, knowing what the stance is?
I would just like to make one comment.
Sure, if you'll stand up, and I'm not going to swear them in if it's just a comment. And ma'am, if you'll just identify yourself.
My name is Brenda Shields, and we live in the same neighborhood.
Okay, Ms. Shields, so you are a neighbor?
Yes.
Okay, and what would you like to say?
For your information, this was started July the 19th, but it was started way back when. I think there was some issues with the changeover to the magistrate situation from the Code Enforcement Board. So, you know, then we have spoken to several of the people who have come over there in the truck, several of us, and one of the things that we understand is there is an asbestos issue. So I guess they have to do the mitigation of the asbestos before the house can be.
That's included in the contract.
That's in the contract. So I guess what we're concerned about is, I guess that's going to delay the process even further, you know.
Right,
so-
but I guess if we delay for safety's sake, then.
Right, and it's a good thing to have that, so, but we
Yes.
understand that. So we
So-
just are anxious to get it over with.
Yes, I fully understand. Yes, Mr.
Shouldn't
Brown?
be any delay on that, it's included in the contract.
Okay. And did either of these gentlemen wish to?
Yeah,
say?
I'm Jim Leland, also live in the neighborhood.
And I'm sorry, say your
It's
name
Jim
again.
Leland, and I'm also a neighbor. I guess I'm with you, I'd just like to know a date, so there's some resolution, and we know that there's a date that it's going to happen. I don't know who
Okay.
administers that request. And
Well, and let me ask you, Officer I'm sorry, Beavers, if they, do you, once they have filed a new permit, and I realize it's out of your hands, sir, that do they, I mean, is there a way that the neighbors can find out at least a due-by date by calling you?
No, they're, technically, when there's a permit, the permit is good for 6 months. But at the rate that Mr. Brower has been taking care of what he needs to take care of, and now it's in the contractor's hands, I foresee that it's gonna move pretty quickly.
And I mean, assuming there is an asbestos problem, how quickly, once they get on property, will this be able, I mean, could it take place in a day?
I'm
Or
not-
does it take a week, or?
I'm not familiar with that.
So once and I'm just helping you all with a little bit of how this works, because if you all will understand, at least as of right now, Mr. Brower is out of the equation. I mean, obviously, I guess if Mr. Brower, pardon me, were to chain himself to the house to say, you know, I thought I could do this, now I can't, or something like that, then we would obviously have a new situation. But I mean, it's my understanding he, at least, has done everything
Yes,
he needs to do. it's fully in the hands of, let's just argue, a company that I presume is paid upon completion of the task, like maybe some before, and so it is a company's capitalistic desire to earn the monies that they have coming in. Is that how the payment works?
Correct.
And as stated, the company has submitted the permit.
The new permit? After
Not the new one, he needed to take care of the bill.
Right, but that's, I guess, what they need is they've been living with this and they would like their own property value and their area to be beautiful. And so I understand that, and I know the city if they could, so I'm just trying to hone in as best I can to see, because obviously, because this has been going on for so long, it's possible, officer, that you could either alert them to the name of the company. I don't know whether they would share information with you. I don't know if you'll just have to be lucky that when the truck rolls up, but I'm guessing, and we all know how things
Yeah,
go.
that was a
that
contract
it's-
between Mr. Brower and the company. That's not information that I would share with the public. That would be their responsibility.
Well, I mean, arguably, I could ask Mr. Brower, you
Yeah.
know, in the kindness of the holiday spirit, that if you have a conversation with them, I mean, will you continue to
I
speak
already
with them?
contacted one of the neighbors across the street because as soon as I found out, that was before I learned about the disconnect problem, and I notified them. And from what the contractors are saying, it should be 5 days or less.
You
Once they
need
get
to
started.
because I assume a permit now has to be resubmitted, but if we have no timeline on that, these folks could be sitting here in March with the same issue, not because of Mr. Brower, but because of a slow-moving company.
Well,
That's
they
a lot of-
came in and already submitted a permit, so I
They
sure
were-
said they're
Based on
gonna
the
come
fees.
back in, yeah.
But I mean, they need to now do a new permit.
Yes,
correct?
they were gonna move forward at the time until we found out about the,
Right, but I'm saying now we're right back to they've not submitted a new permit, and then the bill was paid as of when?
I would pay it today and transfer it over.
Was that the 11th? Is that what Officer?
no, the bill was paid today.
Oh, okay.
I spoke with Mr. Brower on Friday and notified him of the
Hold on.
disconnect issue, and he came right in, and it was too late Friday afternoon. Once we saw what the issue, the clerks caught what the issue was and notified me, I immediately contacted Mr. Brower, with one of the clerks over in Beaches Energy. We called him, together over the phone, explained the steps that he needed to take care of the bill to move forward with the disconnect, and he came in today.
Right. But I'm less concerned about what's transpired past. What I'm more concerned is and I don't know, I mean, I'm not creative.
They had 6 months.
Well, but there's the concern.
It shouldn't be anything like that. They've been really prompt on everything. This company's done better than anybody I've dealt with.
And neighbors, I mean, Mr. Brower, I know doesn't live there, so it may make it difficult to get a hold of him. I don't know whether he is willing to share a phone number just to let one person be a point person, and that when he knows a date, hopefully he will call you. I would ask, I would say this. I would say, let's just look at this point as holiday spirit. The city has been, in my estimation, very generous with you with the time that it has taken to get us to this point. I would now ask you to share that same Christmas spirit with your neighbors. And since it is now out of your hands, if you would do me the favor, or do the city the favor, if one of you all would like to be the point person, I don't know if you want to get Mr. Brower's phone number before he leaves.
Actually, my wife asked if he could easily text us.
Okay, well, I mean, your mode of
I think they're
contact.
the ones I notified as soon as I've heard from the contractor.
And if Mr. Brower, if you don't mind, just so they could have a timeline, and then that way, if there becomes a concern not due to you.
No, I'll notify them just like I did before.
Then they'll let Officer Beavers know if there's a problem, and I don't know whether that's really in her job description to sort of follow up on a demolition team, but hopefully they understand that this is something that the sooner taken care of, the better, especially,
It would now move over to our building supervisor.
Okay, well, then I guess if if you don't mind sharing that phone number with them, and then that way we can remove you from the equation as well. So I hope that answers your all's questions.
Yeah, like I said, we think everybody's just looking for, like, when's it?
I apologize too, if I'd known there was this much damage, I never would have hired the original roofing contractors. I would have had to go right to this, but.
I have no doubt that was, because that was just a.
Yeah, and I mean, life always works out the way it works
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
So
yeah.
thank you very much, Mr. Brower. Thank you, Officer Beavers. Is there anything else? Thank you all neighbors. Is there anything else that's before me Stephanie? Then I assume we are in, you call it recess. Thank you all, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brower. Thank you.